Today we are going to be making cheesecake bars, but we are going to be using sweet potato. So as ever, we have found a recipe online which we think sounds a little bit ridiculous, and we are going to try it ourselves in my kitchen. So we're going to get started. So this recipe calls for a cake mix base. So I've gone and bought just a standard vanilla sponge cake mix. And so we're going to start making the base now. We're not sponsored by Tesco's, but Tesco's, if you'd like to sponsor us or buy our cakes, you can. So first I'm going to take my bag of cake mix, I'm going to mix in 1 egg and half a cup of butter, and then that's going to resemble a sort of dough, and that's going to be the base of this cheesecake recipe. So we're going to start by adding our cake mix, then we're going to add in our butter. So this is half a cup's worth of butter. Now I'm going to add an egg to the cake mix and butter. So now it just says to mix this all up, so I'm going to do that. I think I might need to put it in the electric mixer because it looks like this. Or maybe I'll get in with my hand. I might actually just get in.
Need it.
Give it what it needs. So it's starting to look a bit like breadcrumbs. So a bit like a crumble mix would look on the top of a cake. On the top of a cake. On the top of a crumble. And this has got to come together to form like a dough. It's starting to come together a bit more now. Okay, so I think this is basically what we need. And now we just need to flatten this out in our tin. And then this is going to create like a, I guess like a cakey flavoured base for the cheesecake. Okay, now I've just got to press this out so we've got an even coverage on the bottom of the cheesecake. Okay, so that's all pressed down. And I've no idea what we're doing next, so I'm going to go and check the recipe and wash my hands.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Don't know. Whoops.
Why have you made a hole?
I was trying to eat a bit. So we're now going to make the filling of the pie, and this is some sweet potato, some cream cheese, an egg, sugar, and then pumpkin spice flavour. So although it's not pumpkin, it's sweet potato, it's going to have that pumpkin spice flavour, which we're currently in November, so perfect time of year for that flavour. So I'm going to go in first with my sweet potato. So I've boiled this. The recipe actually said to buy tinned sweet potato, which I've never seen. So I presumed it meant tinned would be cooked. Then I'm going to go in with the cream cheese. This is about 270 grams, so that's going in now. Then I'm going to go in with 1 egg. So I've got half a cup of sugar. This is caster sugar. You could add a brown sugar if you wanted to make it a bit more rich in flavour. And then this recipe calls for 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin spice mix. But I'm going to do all of the spices individually. So I've got cloves, I've got nutmeg, I've got cinnamon, and then I've got ginger. So the most prominent spices are going to be cinnamon. So I'm going to do half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then half a teaspoon of ginger, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. And it looks pretty disgusting right now, and I'm hoping it will just blend and be a nice sweet cream cheese tasting filling, but right now it looks pretty gross. So let's whiz it up. I think that looks pretty good. I'm just gonna, it smells a bit weird. I'm just gonna give it a taste just to make sure that the spices doesn't need any more spices. It's quite savoury. So it doesn't taste like I was expecting. The base is really sweet. It tastes like a cookie on the base. So I'm hoping that this will be balanced out by the sweetness of the base because it's quite savoury at the moment.
Oh, I don't like the smell of sweet potato on it. Oh, oh no, not for me that. It tastes like baby food. Not that I eat baby food on a regular basis, but like, it tastes like what I imagine baby food tastes like. Okay, so now I'm gonna spread my cheesecake filling onto the base, and then I believe we're gonna bake it. So it's all out, and now I'm just gonna spread it out, getting it to every corner. It's got quite a nice colour to it. So I'm going to put this in the oven at 180 degrees for between 20 to 25 minutes. And then the recipe says if it still looks a little bit soft, just give it another 5 minutes. So
I'm cooking my Arga, so you never know how long things are going to take. It might be half an hour, it might be days. So let's pop it in. So this has come out of the oven about 5 minutes ago. It's cooled now, hence holding it. And it looks quite nice. It looks kind of like a cheesecake. It smells delicious. It's got that sort of spiced pumpkin spice smell to it, which is really nice. And then the texture, it feels just like a baked cheesecake. It's got that sort of squishy feeling. Looks pretty promising. So we're gonna make a topping now. So it's a cup of sour cream, some sugar and some vanilla, and that's it. So I'm gonna do 1 cup of sour cream into a bowl, and then it's a 1/4 of a cup of sugar, and then finally 1/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then I think you just mix this together. Now this goes over the top of the baked mixture. And then I'm just going to spread this around so it's covering all of the cheesecake. So now finally, just to add a bit of texture to the top of the cheesecake, we are going to add some granola, some chocolate chips, and then a little bit more of that pumpkin spice flavour mix, just to enhance the flavour a bit more. The granola will give it the crunch, and then the chocolate chips will give it a sweetness. So I'm going to do that now. So the recipe specifically called for granola without raisins, which is harder to find than you think, but we've got them again. Tesco's. So I guess because this cheesecake doesn't have the biscuit base on the bottom, you don't get that crunch. So this granola on top is gonna make up for that, I guess, hopefully. And then I'm gonna go on with some of the spice. So obviously I haven't got the pre-mixed spice, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of cinnamon on top, and then a little bit of ginger. And I won't put the others on just because they're on their own, they're a bit weird. And then finally we've got some white chocolate chips here, so this is gonna just add a little bit of sweetness. So that's it. That is all the steps followed on this recipe. It now says that you have to wait 2 hours for it to set in the fridge, which is my least favourite thing about baking. I don't have very much patience, so when something says that it needs to cool fully before you can eat it, usually we don't follow that instruction. But because I'm trying to test out these recipes to see what they're really like, for you guys, I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna go and do some work to distract myself, and then see you in 2 hours. So it's been about 3 hours. It's been setting in the fridge, and I've been patient and haven't touched it since it went in. I'm really excited because I actually think this one is going to be a success. I have everything crossed, so let's cut into it and see how it looks. Oh, it's really moist. It looks really good. You can really see the defined layers. So you've got the cake mix base that we did, which is quite dense looking, and then the next layer is the sweet potato layer, which is a lot lighter and quite sort of fluffy looking, and then the very top layer is just completely gooey. It's like it's a sour cream sugar mix, so it's almost like cream on top really. So I'm excited to try it. That is so good. So it's like a blondie. It's got that sort of similar sort of chewy texture, but a bit lighter than a blondie. So a blondie is quite dense. This one's a little bit lighter, but still got that same sort of texture. The flavour is so nice. You would absolutely, of all the recipes we've done where we've put weird stuff in it, you would not know there's sweet potato in this. If I was served this, I wouldn't know at all. I'd just think it was delicious. I would 100% make this again. I'd maybe bake it for a bit longer so it just sets up a little bit more. But other than that, I give it a good 8 out of 10. Would recommend. You want to try?
It's alright. Yeah, it's alright. It's like pumpkin cake.
So if you enjoyed that recipe, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you felt like it was alright, like Tom, then also do me a favour and like and subscribe and ring that bell for notifications. Bye.